Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Integrity Matters by Turnitin. My name is Chooks, and with me in the house today are Dr. Serena Shirazi, Head of School, Social Science and Business Management, and Rook Malik, Dean of Academics and Internationalization, both at the Millenium Universal College, Pakistan. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Ugo. We're very happy to be here. Rook Malik. I'm the Dean of Academics Internationalization, and extremely excited to be talking with the Turnitin team and specifically a topic that's very close to my heart, anything to do with integrity, academic integrity. There's a lot of work that we do here, so would love to start the day with this.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for that introduction. Just gonna quickly, just to get a sense of what you do at the Millennium Universal College in Pakistan. I'll start with Dr. Serena Shirazi. Can you tell us little bit about your background and what you do at the Millennium Universal College?
So, Hugo, it's a pleasure being here. My name is Dr. Serena Shirazi. I've done an MSc in economics, another master's in marketing and commercialization, international trade, specialities. I'm a Fulbright scholar, and I've done a PhD in management sciences. I recently done a course on entrepreneurship, so I'm a part of the Entrepreneurial Association for Women Entrepreneurs. And at the Millennium Universal College, Pakistan, I am the head department for social sciences and business management, and look after a lot of programs, basically business related. One is politics and IR, so banking, economics, all of that. And one of the premier colleges here in Pakistan. And so that's what we do here. And as far as, and of course, the key to everything is academic rigor, integrity, and making the place for our student in the marketplace, whether it's entrepreneurship or whether it's through a job placement. So that's what we do here. That's what the overall department looks after.
Can we also meet Rook Malik? Tell us a little bit about your background and what you do at the Millennium Universal College.
So the Millennium Universal College is a transnational education provider. So we are the largest transnational education provider in Pakistan. We have a national footprint, so we're in all the major cities. When we started offering distance learning programs with us, this was around 15 years ago. We started with the University of London. Now we have a host of a large portfolio, a suite of UK universities. Business, law, fashion, economics. There's HN qualifications, which are the skills-based qualifications that we offer. So we work with the University of Hertfordshire, we work with the University for the Creative Arts for all our liberal education, and then there's the ACCA that we offer as an accountancy portfolio to our students. So there's a large portfolio of qualifications, undergraduate and now postgraduate qualifications that we offer to the students in Pakistan. So this is private education, this is transnational education, and it's actually an opportunity for the youth of Pakistan to avail not going to international universities if they can't afford to, or they want to stay at home, and because of COVID now, this is an opportunity for them to sort of learn global education at the doorstep at their home country. So we enjoy that. We've been doing this for a very long time. We're known as pioneers in TNE in Pakistan. We're regulator approved. So, and if you go through the QA UK country report on Pakistan, there's a whole chapter on us, because when they came to Pakistan for the first time, I actually led that defense and met with the QA team, and we were nominated by the British Council and the the Higher Education Commission, which is a regulatory body in Pakistan, to be part of the QA review and the report for Pakistan. So we're very proud of all of our milestones. We've come a long way. I look after the quality assurance, the academics, the internationalization portfolio. So my job is to look after internationalization, smooth running of academics. There's a lot of organizational development that I look after as well, diversity, inclusion. These are things that are very close to what I passionately believe in, and academic integrity. So I've done my master's in English literature and linguistics. I've got an MBA, business administration and marketing. I just recently been completed my PG cert from University of London, and I'm a recognized tutor by the Institute of Education. And there's a host of certifications I've done, but I think my most of my favorite learning comes from all working with my students and my learners.
Excellent. Really good to meet you both. And like I said, let's delve into what research integrity is and what that looks like from a commercialization aspect. My very first question is going to go to Dr. Shirazi. How do you define commercialization of research, and what does it entail when we look at how we want to generate funds or as a revenue generation scheme for universities?
So I think when you come to define this, and commercialization is a process. So it has a lot to do with integrity, because I think it's basically taking the idea to the market. So it's a whole process. Basically, the student is coming up with an idea, and during coursework, we have classes for entrepreneurship, and we have a product and business development class, special class here, for which our students sit together, brainstorm, make teams, and then they come up with products and ideas that they can pitch in the market. I was just having a talk with somebody yesterday with a cohort, and they're working on a software uh, for uh, for data gathering and for a B2B scenario. And of course, I've not discussed it at length because they haven't gotten their trade registered trademarks yet. But there are some things that we will be able to share with you that our students have launched, and I have a few samples of that. So I think commercialization basically means that you get a really good idea, and if you can find that gap in the market, what people need, especially with the training scenario of COVID spreading and everything changing for everybody. I think when you get that great idea and the way, if we can guide our students to pitch it right, get into the market and sell it, I think that's the commercialization aspect that we focus on. So and we've had that done. One of our graduates has actually come up with a product, and it is actually. So I'll go into more details about what the product is and how they went about doing it. But I think basically the business, when we have business incubation, a small business incubation center, and we get our business ideas together for the competitions, we tell them that they should be viable and they should be practical and they should be good enough so that they can be taken to market and sold. So in case of producing people who are dependent on other people for paying for their work, they should be entrepreneurs and they should be the change makers in the marketplace. So to us, that is the core of commercialization.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that your college actually looks after or thinks about the entrepreneurial side of research, which is really what we're here to discuss today. Kholah, I'm looking at hearing your thoughts on how you define research integrity and how this is important when we look at the commercialization of research.
So, because when we started offering distance learning programs, and there are challenges offering distance learning programs, specifically with respect to art and fashion and textiles and courses that require students to create products and come up with ideas. Research integrity is crucial. And I've learned that creating a culture within the campus and with the students and creating a cultural environment where they feel that you can trust them, you enable the environment around them, the people around them, to help them understand how important integrity is and how important academic integrity is. So what we've done is we run campaigns throughout the year. There are student ambassadors that are integrity ambassadors, and there are other students, because actually what I understand is learners best when you speak in their language, and they hear best when their own are talking. So We've got some really good examples of students that have done exceptionally well. When it comes to evidencing what you've made and what you've done, that's something that the quality assurance department specifically looks into. It took us time when we started the distance learning programs. We didn't really have a specific quality assurance department. We built that 9 years ago, and we made sure that our faculty, our assessors, and the students from the get go, from the time that the academic year starts, understand that what they're doing and what they're presenting has to be their own work, and promoting successes, healthy successes, where the students have done well, evidence their work. We've rewarded that, and I think that's helped. And when students see success with academic integrity, it increases.
The process of research commercialization is often a very lengthy one, especially when going through the rigor of doing the experiments to make sure that it's viable, like you said. Why is that the case? And what are some things we can do to prepare students for this lengthy process?
So, yes, it is definitely a lengthy and complex process because it doesn't come with an idea and then you're all of a sudden pitching the idea and selling the product in the market. It is a lengthy process because you have to come up with an idea. You sometimes have to come up with so many ideas and then shoot down a few and come to the one that's practically going to work out. And in addition to that, the students have to work out a whole business plan, which means they have to know the finances, the cost of the product, the cost of the bulk product, how it is going to be transported, how it's going to be packaged, who is their target audience, who will be the people who will be, advantaged by buying these products. And so, whether it's going to be for a business, or it's going to be for an individual, what age bracket are the targeting, how large do they want their target market to be. So, it can be, you can start from your locality and you can expand to the city and then go into city. I understand then that we have a lot of courier services and it is easier to take things even international, but there's also a cost attached to it. And I think one of the most difficult things that we have to ingrain in our students and, the things that need most of the coaching is the legal aspect.
Hmm.
So how do they make sure that the product that they're coming up with is sustainable, it is in line with the quality standards issued by the regulatory authorities where they're selling their product or service. And in the long run, this is going to have an impact on the environment. And especially, again, and sometimes, these ideas can be stolen. So they have to be told that they need to keep the idea to themselves. They have to make sure that the tagline and the title of the company that we use is not already used. It is not copied from somewhere. So it has to be, and we have to make sure that it is the copyright on of that. And, so all these copywriting and registered trademarks for the products, all of this process, the legal process is also very important because you see, for our institution, the business students are so excited because they've come up with something. We also have a fashion and textiles department. So the fashion and textile student is so good at designing and putting a thing together. But when it comes to the legalities, we really, really need help. So
Mm,
advertising and promotion is what we teach them during the coursework.
mm,
But I think the challenge that we really want to overcome with the students and we really want them to be aware of is the trademark, the certifications that they have to get, the procedures that they have to put in place in writing. So
mm,
that is the kind of thing that can sometimes be challenging because
mm,
it is easier to come up with an idea and think when highly of yourself. Of course, you have to believe in your idea to
mm,
pitch it and all of that, but also there's a legal side involved with it. The kind of manpower, the kind of training that you need to get that manpower. So all of that goes into the product development. So all of these things, what we call the nitty gritties have to be conveyed to the students. have to be implemented. We have to make sure that the idea is not stolen. And we don't talk about the idea until it is out in the market. So, so that somebody else doesn't pick it up and, put a tagline on it themselves and then float it into the market. So I think these are the challenging things that we have to be very, very careful of when we uh, have this commercialization thing going on and the product from the idea to the market,
Mm,
especially with these young students who have no idea of what the market is all about.
mm.
So I think that is one of the greatest challenges, and that we are also being able to head with a law department that we have. So we get some help from them as well, and they tell us about the regulations and how to go about, licensing whatever product or service or company that the students need to register that they've come up with.
So just stay with you there, Dr. Shirazi, because we're looking at now we're going to move the lens from students to academics who are involved in research and looking at it from the angle of commercializing their research while they're in the process of doing the research. What would you say are some barriers to research commercialization? And if we have a system that eliminates these barriers, will that incentivize more academics to engage in research and its commercialization?
So I think the trouble we see when we talk about research commercialization and actually the academic research that can be commercialized is that the academics are very uh, sometimes they don't have a very diverse outlook towards life. Academics are so focused on their research and the paperwork and getting it right and getting all the latest references and not you know um, let's just say plagiarizing something, and if something has already been done, how to advance it. So that they're focused on that. They have to be linked with the industry,
Yep.
with somebody who's dynamic, right? So I think it is the industry academia linkage that is so important because a person who's in the market and running a business can actually tell the academic who's coming up with great ideas. Like, if a student of ours is coming up with an idea and he's taking it to the market and he knows everything, but there are some, breakthrough researches which will tell them that if you launch a product like this instead of the usual way, you will you will definitely make it through and you will do better. So, that data gathering, that groundwork, that basic research on the feedback that you get from the customer, the user, is something that's collected by the academic. And that has to be linked with the student or the entrepreneur who's really going to the market. And I think if you pair them up, that is what will really get the things going. So I think what we really need to all across the globe, what we really need to work hard on is the industry academia linkage. It is not
Mm,
about how much research academics have done. It is about how much actual research they've done. So how much implementable research is done. So it is not enough to write a research paper in a good journal, which is great, which is grand, and then it is a difficult job to do, and of course that has a separate scope. But I think as far as the industry, the entrepreneurial ventures are concerned, we need to go for actual research, actual implementable things which you can implement and see, even if they fail, you don't have to pass the first time. A business doesn't need to work, earn millions of dollars the first day. It takes time for everything. But I think with the passage of time, what we need to focus on is action research and its integration and collaboration with the entrepreneurs, with people who want to commercialize their projects. So I
mm,
think that's the biggest gap that we see right now,
mm.
the industry academia linkage. So
Okay.
that is what we're trying to fill out over here at TMUC Pakistan as well.
Just curious to know if Khola's got some thoughts on what strategies institutions can take into consideration when looking to commercialize research.
So when it comes to what we're doing, I can only talk about TMUC at the moment. Is that we have a career development center, we have an academia industry linkages office, that actually helps connect us with the industry. So just to give you a few examples, for example, when we went into the COVID lockdown 2 years ago, a lot of our students with a lot of, they have a lot of they have on they're entrepreneurial. They actually all of them want to be businessmen and business women. So when they come to us, because we're very known as the niche college that provides you the kind of platform, because on campus the students have the only fashion and textiles lab. They have an incubation center in the art design department. They have a business incubation center. So for the staff and the students, there was a lot of opportunity in the last 2 years or 3 years. So what my students, for example, I can give you an example of a student that because there was a lot of international travel that was banned or restricted, some of my students have successfully and now developed business models, and I'm very proud of them. Where there's Vidar Express, which is on Instagram as well, which is what they've done is they've taken up the idea of you can't go out, you can actually travel your own country. So you what they've done is they've come up with really niche ideas on packaging resorts within the country. I, for one, for example, did not know so many places inside Pakistan. I'd never visited. I always thought that we'd go to Dubai or London for that matter. But it was interesting to know that we have beaches and we had mountains that we discovered. So it was a wonderful idea, and he's done exceptionally well. One of our and there was a group of students, so one led. That just like that, there was another idea that came up on one of my students is traveling back and forth and bringing luxury items that people couldn't go out and buy. So she's like, I don't know what you call them, the fly-in shoppers. So that was their business idea. And there's a lot of things that happened in the past 3 years with respect to students and staff. I know a lot of staff that went into online restaurants and delivery services. So it opened up the idea now that we have the platform on campus. We're actually the reason why the students would get help from the industry, and the kind of leadership that we have. They're very well connected with the we have a very large textiles industry, fabrics, fashion, media houses, banks, telcos. So what we do is we link our students to them. So, for example, the students that are studying computer sciences, software engineering, so they're actually right now helping telcos come up with the solutions for their problems during COVID. So these are all the things that universities, institutes can do. Because right now, if universities are not changing the way they were working before, I think they'd pretty much go out of business or cease to exist altogether if they're not changing with time. Because right now, what our students need is the kind of support that you would get 4 years later at an undergraduate degree, but the student wants it the first year when they join us, and the kind of hand-holding, critical thinking support. The other thing that we've done, which is exceptionally, and we're very proud of, is that, excuse me, is the fact that because we've got to be a lot more fluid. There's a art and design department that helps with that helps the business department and the creative media production team. What they do is they work together. So there's a business idea, there's a legal side to it, like my colleague Dr. Sarina said. The law student or the legal clinic will help students establish the legal aspect of whatever they're trying to give in. There is the creative media production students department that would help them with the graphics and the design. So everybody coming together, groups of people helping each other, and letting students work together it will be the future. An exceptionally a niche idea, because I think if you let the departments help each other with the way that they're working, because under one roof in a university, there'd be computer sciences students, there'd be law students, there'd be business students, there'd be fashion students or art and design students. I think if you let them work together, that's the responsibility of the institution to give them that entrepreneurial platform. I think that would be the future.
So it sounds like the key theme from today is looking at the institution and industry collaboration, and part of my research or part of the research I've been doing prior to this is the recommendation that commercialization of research would go will be more successful with that positive incentives when it comes to academics engaging with research. I'm curious to understand, this is to Dr. Shirazi, how can this be rolled out in a university, for an example, with the idea of positive incentive?
So I think the best way to do it is like have an idea competition, not only for somebody who has a product. So an idea competition can be a product, can be a service, can also be an idea that you researched and you think is going to click in the market. It's like because so many years ago I did a technology audit. I applied a technology audit model. Uh, the engineering sector in Pakistan when I was doing my MS, and that had been done for the first time. I think the best incentive that I got after that was whoever I was working with, the organizations, always told me that you're asking us all of these questions. We want you to come back and let us know what your analysis is. And I think that is how to encourage a researcher. When they go into research which is actually applicable, they're allowed to pitch that idea. They can pair up with somebody who can help them take it to the market. And once it's in the market, they can have their share in the business. So if it's a business oriented idea, if it's a business oriented research that they've done, they can pair up with the right kind of people who can help them, navigate their way to the market because they're experts there. And again, I also feel that if an idea is worth it, because before it was difficult to get tag on the idea or like get paid for it, but now since it has become a global village, the world has come together through the internet, through everything, and you can outsource your ideas, and people are freelancing. So I think it also will help with freelancing, and it will create a lot of opportunity for people who are researching and who didn't know what to do with their research, how to get their research to the right target market. So I think now there's more opportunity as it kicks off, um, pitching your research work, your research outcomes, the things that you came up with to the right target audience.
Sounds very exciting. Overall, one of the things we're aiming at, I'll say, as a nation, is how what we do at the university support the future of the economy of any nation. What role does commercialization have in driving a nation's future economic prosperity? The question goes to Kholah.
Well, I think everything. I think we are the future business hubs. If that's what I call them. Like I told you, these past 3 years have helped all of us, specifically our team, understand that there's a lot to be gained. When I spoke about the tourism industry within Pakistan has grown exponentially, and the business in smaller villages, the mountain areas, the kind of bed and breakfasts that have opened, like the small things, all of that for the average man and the economy has helped and bloomed. So all the businesses and the business ideas that were going abroad have now we actually look at our own country as an opportunity place. So I think the future universities would become the business hubs, the idea generators. And it's extremely important for developing countries to actually capture this niche, because at the end of the day, it's the universities, it's the learners, the future that will drive the economy. And it is upon the leaders of the universities, colleges, educational institutions to have that vision and that mindset, because of which I think the country would benefit. There would be economic growth, and who doesn't like economic growth? I mean, that's the future, and that gives you hope. It gives you joy and happiness to see, prosperity, and poverty alleviation. A lot of problems with technology that we might have had challenges, and we were adopting technology. Now we are creating technology, digital platforms. So I think that there was a lot of this disturbance or disruption, as we call it, But I think it gave us opportunity and it supported us. So I think we've done exceptionally well. Very proud of all of the universities and all the students and the learners and the staff that have come together and worked with us. So I think there's hope and there's happiness and there's joy. There's been a lot of disconnect, disruption, a disturbance. But I think what we're looking at now, 3 years into this journey, we're looking at a lot of hope and happiness because that's important.
Hmm.
And that's the message that we should give to our learners.
So just to wrap up this conversation, I'm going to start with Dr. Shirazi. Have you got any other thoughts and insights on the topic that you'd like to share with the academic community who's listening to this?
Yes. So overall, I would say that the academic community really needs to work on um, the integrity of the students, the integrity of the work, upholding the integrity of the institution, especially by making sure that the ideas that are launched in a classroom are, until they are, registered trademarks, are given to the credit for that is given to the student. It is not taken out of the class. The students have to be taught that. The teachers, professors have to be taught that. And when the idea goes all the way to the market, the professors and the institutions have to respect that and make sure that credit is given to the right person. So I think that is one of the most vital parts of the whole exercise. And I think that will encourage more students and more people to come up with great ideas because they know that they get to keep the credit and they get to flourish with the idea and, earn with more with the idea and maybe engage greater numbers and um, they'll be paying other people as well. So, having a sustainable idea should be given credit for, and I think it should be encouraged and it should be protected.
Hmm.
The most important thing is a credible idea needs to be protected by the teacher, by the institution, while it is still there until it has been launched up to the market.
Very, very, very wise words there. Thank you for sharing that. Kholah, have you got any final words?
Well, I agree with Christoph Sarina, my colleague. The Career Development Center, the academic linkages, we say discuss it, assess it, protect it, and license it. So I think that's my parting words. Respect, fairness, trust, responsibility. These are things that need to be inculcated, embedded, weaved into our systems. Celebrate academic integrity throughout the year so that you don't have to remind anyone. It's at the background always. So academic integrity, academic support, student voice. These are the things that are the future.
Very well put there. I'd like to say a big thank you to my guests today, Dr. Serena Shirazi and Rook Malik, both from the Millennium Universal College. Thank you so much for your insight. It was a really engaging session. I hope anyone who's watching this learns from it and have some ideas of how they can go about commercialization, commercializing their research rather. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you so much. Thank you, Turnitin.